Hey everybody, and welcome to the Holotapes Weekly. This is episode 20 that's a good question.
20-something.
20-something. That's actually, yeah, I think it's like
23.
23. Thank you, Simon. I'm your host, Jordan M. What's up, guys? Today I'm joined by my co-host, Jordan
Hi.
B. I thought. Caedo,
Hello.
our regular guest, and somebody who we haven't seen in a while, Mr. Simon.
Hello.
From episodes 1 and 3. Is that it? Were you really only in 2 episodes?
Yeah, I
I
think
feel like
it
you
was
were in more, though.
Yeah, I
don't
feel like
know.
you were in more.
It was a long time ago.
1 and 3 are the ones I remember at least.
You can
Yeah.
remind others that they can apply to be guests still.
Yes, that would be a
that
really
is a
good idea.
thing.
So here's the thing. So it seems like we've been running sort of short on new guests, and we've been having a lot of regulars. And you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You guys like your regulars. Like we absolutely see, like, some people really like episodes with Caedo on. Some people really like episodes with Monty on.
CJ.
And CJ, yeah.
Monty.
Monty and I think Monty and CJ have the same crowd.
Yeah, pretty much.
So just anyways, speaking of time, guess what today is, guys? Or I guess when you're listening to this, not necessarily today.
Oh, I know what it is.
Do you? It's 6 months. We've been going for 6 months.
This is our 6-month anniversary.
Yeah,
Party.
as of Tuesday. So you're probably listening to this on Wednesday, or at least this comes out on Wednesday, May 26th, something like that. And our anniversary is on the 25th. So it's very, very exciting.
And if you go by my own timeline, you are a quarter of the way to fame.
Quarter of the way. Is that the way it works? We have to wait 2 years?
Well, if you're me. Depends on who you are.
I think that it really depends on what your specific videos are. Your videos take a long time to get there, just because, like, they're guides. It's not necessarily something that somebody's going to watch over and over and over.
Some do.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I watch them over and over again, but that's because I don't know what I'm doing. So there we go.
Yeah, I would assume we're on the same timeline, just because I don't think a lot of people would watch our stuff over and over and over either. I know some people just watch it like when they're working on stuff. But
I listen to it over and over, just so you know.
Oh, good. I'm glad, Caedo. I'm gonna go through and favorite every single one of your videos. It's gonna take me a year. Yeah. I think it'll take longer than you think it will.
I have like 85 that are public total.
Interesting. All right, so weekly dollar for this week is not actually going to be a charity. Today's weekly dollar is going to be your own health. So I want to celebrate a little bit here, and I want to tell you guys a story. So I'm a really big guy. I think a lot of you guys know that. Last year at about Thanksgiving, well, I guess closer to Christmas, I weighed at 290, which, if you don't know, is super obese. I'm only 5'10", so I'm average height, but I was way overweight. And I started making healthier changes, and as of last week, I have dropped 35 pounds. So, that's some really good weight loss. I still got a long way to go, I'll be honest about it. I still got probably 80 more pounds to drop.
Any progress is good progress, though.
Any progress is good progress. So
How much is... sorry.
I need to get down to like 170, I think. But anyways, here's the thing, is that if I can do it, you can do it. So what I want you to do for your weekly dollar this week is I want you all, everybody listening, just make some healthier choices in your life. I think that we all have habits that we need to break. It doesn't matter if you run 5 miles every day. It doesn't matter if you only eat salads, or you're super vegan or whatever. There are always habits that you can break. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out and I want you to have one more salad a day. I want you to have one less cigarette a day. I want you to go out for a run, go for a walk. Caedo, quit smoking.
Yes, quit smoking.
But no, seriously, just try and make a healthier change in your life, and do that for me, and call it your charity for that day. Okay? All right.
Well, people should, do things for themselves too.
They absolutely should, but I think, I feel like we can be a motivator here, Caedo. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Don't undermine my efforts.
No, I'm totally with you. Preach to the choir.
By the way, 35 pounds, how much is that in kilos?
It's about 17 kilos.
900.
17
No.
kilos, yeah. I think that's about right.
I don't.
Probably.
All right,
The way I know is I just divide it in half. And that's
17 kilos.
about right.
I don't know what 17 kilos is in stone for you, British.
Do British people actually use stone?
They use both kilos and stone. Depends on what part of the UK you're from. But anyways, let's continue. Hi everybody, how's everyone doing?
Good. Better now
Excellent.
that I have coffee.
I'm doing pretty well for now.
I'm glad. Speaking of coffee, if you haven't seen Jordan's most recent Let's Play, go watch it. It's basically her drinking coffee for an hour.
It's great.
And jumping through portals, right?
And jumping through portals. Yeah, it's a portal Let's Play. Go watch that. We're going to jump into... I'm going to have to cut that giant out, but who wants to jump into fan questions?
Yeah.
Yay.
Can I?
No, you can't.
Oh.
Jonathan Ricci, @RicciBoy on Twitter. Hey, John. What's up, man? I know this is a debate for Fallout fans. What is better, Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3?
Ugh, this is the bane of my existence.
Do you want the correct answer?
I know the correct answer. Do you?
I know the correct answer, and I'll give you it.
All right.
It's both, because there is no correct answer. Here's the thing: is people forget that Fallout New Vegas is not part of the main series. It is a spin-off, and
Yep.
people don't seem to understand that. So when you're talking about which one is better, what it's really come down to is which story do you like more? And some people don't like the feeling that they're a cowboy, but that's sort of the whole point.
It's comparing separate developers too.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So I think that what it really comes down to is you have to say, all right, New Vegas does have a lot more. It's a lot more in depth when it comes to skills, when it comes to perks, traits, and weapon modifications. A lot more quests and things like that.
Right. But that's also something they've been able to improve because of the modding community.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the other thing is that with Fallout 3, what we're looking at is it's more Fallout-y, which I don't necessarily agree with, but a lot of people say that Fallout 3 is more in line with the original 2. And it absolutely is, because New Vegas is a spin-off. New Vegas wasn't necessarily meant to be perfectly Fallout-y. It was meant to be a Fallout game set in the same world, but it wasn't necessarily meant to fit the same themes.
Right. Like the first time you're not a vault dweller.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Or descendant of one.
Well, we don't know that, but yeah, absolutely.
Or, well, if you count Tactics, Brotherhood of Steel Initiate, that was a tribal, but...
I don't even count those as games, Caedo, so...
Oh, yeah. Tactics is a spin-off, too. That's right.
Yeah, so for all of you out there who are like, which one's better, that basically, New Vegas is the Tactics of 3.
Yes.
There you go.
But
Except a lot.
I'd say better, but...
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Simon?
And well, here's my answer. I like the environment in well, it is pretty much your answer as well, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, I mean, I like the environment much more in 3 because it really gives you a feeling of the cold, dead world that you have to survive in. Whereas New Vegas just doesn't really give you that. It is very cowboy-ish, with quest for helping farmers and finding bounties for raiders and such, or fiends they're actually called.
Yeah.
And then there's the New Vegas obviously has the way more enhanced gameplay. With the mods, the reputation system.
Yeah, all that
in
stuff.
parallel with the karma system. So there's been just a lot more improvements to the gameplay in New Vegas.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you want to hear my answer?
Shoot.
Fallout 2.
You love Fallout 2 too much. And
I
if
am
had-
avoiding the question entirely.
If I had to tell you, Caedo, Fallout 1 is better than Fallout 2.
Okay.
Not even gonna argue.
Fight.
No.
Caedo, I have to say, you were probably the least argumentative person I've ever met.
I just don't argue. I mean,
That's actually like
being
an
in a
accomplishment.
community that can be incredibly toxic at the drop of a hat. Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
Rather than making
that's
content.
absolutely true.
First, I'd rather be making content, or I'd rather be playing said content.
Yeah, I think that it has to go hand in hand. But yeah, Jordan, got anything to add to that?
That he's the least argumentative?
No, about the question, the actual question.
No. I think New Vegas is a better game overall, but I do like the environment of 3 better.
Yeah,
That's all.
I'm definitely gonna agree with you.
What's the comment
Again,
section?
I hate feeling like a cowboy, so there's that. But
You get a cowboy hat and everything?
I do. I pick up all of the cowboy hats, so I guess I kind of bring it on myself.
I think that's it. We're gonna move on. Tammy Parker, is this right, Jordan? Is the numbers either way? Tammy
I just
Parker.
copied and pasted it, so.
Okay, Tammy Parker 615 at Brown Eyes on Twitter. Tell us when Fallout 4 is being released, or the robot gets it. We don't know.
And which
If
robot?
I knew.
Just
Like-
what does the robot get? Is it a cake? Because robots can't eat cake.
Candy.
And if it's Fisto, he can take a lot of punishment anyway.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't touch Fisto. Don't go down that road.
If I had to guess, October, November. If they announce it June 14th, I would guess October or November is when they're going to release it.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take bets on it. Let's do it. Somebody bet me. No.
Nothing.
I bet
I
you, I don't know, 3 pennies that it'll be released in December for the holiday season.
I'll bet you 3 slices of cheese.
You want to?
I'm lactose intolerant. That's not gonna work.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Has it actually been confirmed yet? Because I heard there was some news about it recently, but I couldn't really figure out if it was actually confirmed.
It's still
It's
also
not been officially confirmed. So what
It's still
happened is someone put it on their LinkedIn page
On their
that they
resume.
worked on the trailer.
Yeah.
And then they got hit with a
NDA, non-disclosure.
yeah, non-disclosure agreement. And because they got hit with it, everyone was like, they must totally be telling the truth. I believe everything I read on the internet.
Yeah,
So.
it totally could be bunk, but I think the truth is we're just gonna have to see when E3 rolls around. It's not that far away, guys.
It's
Keep it in
cold
your
out
pants.
there.
Keep it in your
And
pants.
that's the grounds to where like most hoaxes exploded out of proportion anyway.
Yeah.
Like it was just a little thing. It was just a little thing that was posted, and then everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, and
So-
people are all up in arms again now because the Survivor 2299 website is back up.
Yep.
Especially now that's owned. I think that it's now owned by Bethesda, which makes it even weirder. So we'll see. Because if I remember correctly, Bethesda ended up getting the domain after they had that whole debacle with the guy, the hoaxer.
Yeah.
So. We're going to move on. Next question, Christopher Carter at the Sarge 1984 on Twitter. How are there still stores in Fallout 3 that have food in them, yet raiders and various people have been scavenging them for 200 years? You want an answer? Do you guys want the correct answer?
Well,
Tell
I
us
think
the correct answer, and I'll make up a bullshit one.
I think I know the answer for at least the Super Duper Mart.
Shoot.
Well, it isn't that it hasn't been raided, because it has, but the reason there's food there is because raiders brought it there.
That's an interesting theory. Other than maybe the medicine cabinet and the the back storage room, because that still has stuff in it. And here's the reason why I say not the back room.
Well, in the Super Duper Mart, the raiders have taken that over as an HQ for their little operation, and so they store their medicine in the back room, and then there's when you first enter the Super Duper Mart, then to the right there's a kitchen with I think there's like 2 fridges or something.
Yeah, like I'm not arguing with you on the food. What I'm arguing with you on is the back room. I don't think that the back room was theirs. I think that the first aid kit was left over from the war, and this is my reasoning why they couldn't get in the back room, because or else they would have taken the Nuka-Cola Quantum.
Yeah.
It was it's a very valuable resource, even if you didn't have the girl looking for it. The fuck was her name? You know what I'm talking about.
The girl from Gildershade?
Yeah, Gerder Shade. I don't remember what her name. Yes, thank you. But yeah, that's the reason. And here's the other thing. Even if she wasn't buying, it still seems like a valuable resource. You have glowing Nuka-Cola. Yeah. I feel like that would be something that you would pick clean and try and sell off immediately.
Yeah, maybe, and it does make sense because the terminal is still locked, and I think you actually see someone sitting down, one of the raiders sitting down by it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be trying to hack it.
Yeah, I agree. But the food absolutely could be that it's just people storing stuff that they keep on finding.
Yeah.
My argument was that in a lot of cases they are picked clean. You don't see any healthy stuff. You see shitty cereal. You see sugar, you see sugar bombs. You see
snack cakes,
things like that. It's a bunch of
Don't you
shitty
talk smack
food.
about snack cakes?
Yeah, you just ate one.
Yeah, I did. It was delicious.
I hate you for it because I really want one now. But no, shit. What was I saying?
Snack cakes?
Snack cakes, yes. Anyways, here's the thing. It was all of these places were probably picked clean of like healthy foods a long time ago. And while I get it, like if you're starving and you're scavenging, like some snack cakes probably look good, but you're probably going to be able to find something that's healthier and probably better for you outside, and probably something more filling. So let's be honest, who's ever been filled up by eating a fucking Twinkie? You know?
Yeah.
I've never eaten a Twinkie ever, so I haven't.
You're not missing much, honestly.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Even if it isn't that good, I really want to try it just because Zombieland.
That was a good movie.
If you can, get a deep fried one. And then
Don't do that to you.
you will
Love
and
yourself
hate
and
yourself at
don't
the
eat
same
it.
time afterward.
That reminds me of a story that I have to share. I went to a county fair once, and anybody who's in the U.S., if you're outside of the U.S., a county fair is, imagine the most white trashiest thing, the most white trashiest fair you can come up with, and that is a county fair.
Every
so much fun.
every American stereotype will be found at a county fair.
Absolutely. I went to.
Typically embodied by like one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's in a wheelchair?
Yeah. Here's the thing. or on a motorized scooter, one of the two.
Well, same thing.
The only way that you could get more American stereotype is if you walk into a Walmart. But anyways, so here's the thing. I went to there. They have these stands, and they sell deep fried everything. Deep fried Twinkies, deep fried Oreos, deep fried Snickers, like full candy bars, not like mini ones. But this one confused me, and I didn't order it, and I didn't ask about it because I was too confused. They had deep fried Kool-Aid.
What?
How do you
Yeah.
do that?
I don't know. I
Does it-
don't know.
Would it crystallize, or would it? Oh man, what would it do?
I don't know. That's why I didn't ask. Here's what I'm
throw a
thinking.
packet of Kool-Aid in a deep fryer, see what happens.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it was. So you know how you can make deep fried ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that what they did is they made a slushy with Kool-Aid and then deep fried that, like a ball of ice and Kool-Aid.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
what I
guess
would
that would
guess.
work.
But I didn't ask because it was just too weird.
The next time you have the opportunity, I'd say try it.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, there's your answer. It really, back to the actual question. I think that it really comes down to, it's just like, hey, yeah, there's some food here, but I could probably find something better a little ways down the road.
Yeah. We gotta remember too, like in the wasteland, the population is dwindling, so there's not as many people to loot everything.
Yeah.
And like especially the places you find like food in unlocked buildings, they're places that you wouldn't go. Like if you're living in the middle of, you know, a nuclear apocalypse, I'm not gonna go wandering out into the wasteland. I'm gonna try and stay where I know there's stuff and not go hunting for things.
Yeah, I think that's another really good point, and I think that there was a point that you almost got to that I was thinking of, was the player character goes into a lot of places that no one else has been in a while.
Or
Yeah.
hostiles are in and
I mean,
could
you-
care
you-
less about the food.
Yeah. So when they go into those areas, there's still going to be some food that you can loot. And on the other hand, the places that you go into that do have people, it's probably stockpiled by other people that have been there.
Right.
So
Yeah, or maybe it's been, picked almost clean, but they couldn't carry everything. So when they left, someone else came and, just see the store pretty much empty and thought, well, I'm not going to bother, and just left again.
yeah, that's a really good point. So there's your answer. Next question, Draco. Hey Draco Deathclaw at Fallout LSD on Twitter. Foreign accents in the wasteland. Thoughts? We've talked about this before, but let's hear some new thoughts.
They're all faked.
Oh man.
They're all fake. That's your theory.
Every single one of them. Yeah, of course. There are all those little, preteen white girls out there who pretend to have British accents because they think it makes them look
Is
cool.
that a thing?
Is that a thing?
Okay, so I guess no one else on the show has been a 13-year-old girl before, and that makes sense. But yes, that's a thing.
I tried it once, but it wasn't really me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is a thing. There are little girls that are like, I took out my British accent. Tip, tip, cheerio.
I mean, all right. Here's the thing. I'll admit that I did once, back during my dating days, that I I went out and I tried to pick up women using a Southern accent. I mean, I'm not gonna say it didn't work, but it was one time, and I felt really weird about it.
Because you had to use it the whole time after that, didn't you?
I had to use every single time that I talked to that girl afterwards.
That would have been difficult.
Yeah. So that's okay. All right, back to the actual topic. Thoughts? Let's hear it.
For Accents in the Wasteland.
Accents the Wasteland.
As far as I can tell, like Aradesh is the I would say the furthest back. Isn't he the furthest back reference we have for heavy accents?
Dukov.
No, Aradesh was the first one that we have. The newest one that we have is probably Dukov. Probably Dukov. I don't remember anybody having a super heavy accent in New Vegas.
No, I don't think so.
Other than tribals. But that was just because they literally spoke a different language.
Yeah, and Dean Domino's a special case because he's a ghoul and he's lived for a while.
Yeah, and his accent isn't actually that much different. It's still an American accent. Here's what it really is. It's a Broadway accent.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But this is the original theory that I think it was me and Lucas that came up with this theory way back when, was that it's people that, so, the bombs drop, you aren't in a vault, right? Your family's in this little house, they manage to survive, they keep to themselves. Occasionally they have interactions with merchants and other people and new people move into the family, but you basically stay in one place for a long time. Now, without too much outside influence, your accent is going to stay the same, right?
Yep.
So let's say that the mom and dad, they have a kid, the kid is going to pick up on that accent. It's not like it's going to change.
Yeah,
so let's say right at the beginning of the war, Dukov as an example, his family comes over, they bunker down because all of a sudden the war's happening. Well, Dukov's father probably still spoke Russian. His grandfather probably still spoke Russian, And so that just kind of gets passed down. It's not like they're faking it or anything. It's not like they came over on the boat immediately. It's that they've just been stuck in an area so long that they don't have enough outside influence. I think that Dukov and Tenpenny, I have a different theory on.
I'm 100% sure with Tenpenny that he is faking it. He heard it on some holotape somewhere and was like, "That makes me sound like I'm
it's
an
the rich
upper class." Yeah.
It's the rich asshole accent. But with Dukov, I really think that it just comes down to, if Dukov ever has kids, his kids are not going to have the accent because he's too much with the outside world now. He has contact with merchants and stuff more than his parents probably did.
That shows with Aradesh and Tandy, because Tandy is his daughter, but she doesn't carry an accent at all.
Yeah, but he does, exactly.
Yeah, got a standard American accent.
Aradesh's accent was
It was Indian.
Indian or Native American?
Or had Indian influence, I guess.
Indian or Native American?
I would say Indian.
Because I really couldn't tell. I mean, it could go either way. It just occurred to me that they actually, anyways. But yeah, there's your real answer. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think that's the best suggestion. The other suggestion that comes up a lot is that in Fallout 1 with Aradesh and later on Tandy, I think that with them it's just that the war had just happened basically.
Oh wow! I just realized she developed a Southern accent after she became president.
Yeah, because she picked up from she basically picked up from all the people around her afterwards.
Yeah.
But I think it really just comes down to with Aradesh at least, that the war had just happened. But the other theory that pops up a lot is that in Fallout 3, because that's where the accents are, the other place that the accents are really noticeable, is that it was supposed to be a prequel, and that they had already recorded voice lines before they decided to change the idea, which sort of makes sense and sort of doesn't. But
yeah. Well, there's what's the name of the bar in Megaton?
Moriarty's.
Yeah, Moriarty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Moriarty is a fake asshole too.
I don't think so. I think that that's another case of his parents moved to Megaton because I think they mentioned that he's owned the bar for forever. So I think it was probably one of those things, like his dad, his family came from one of the surrounding areas and they were bunkered down just like Dukov's family was. That's what I wanted to say. So that would be my guess, because his accent doesn't sound fake, unlike Tenpenny's. Tenpenny's just an asshole, a racist.
He really is an asshole.
All right, can I ask a question? Is it racism to be prejudiced against ghouls, or is it some other word that I can't think of?
It's probably some other word. Prejudice is probably
The closest that we're kind of is
the
it not like,
closest that we're gonna get.
Discrimination. That's like basically.
yeah, but you have sexism, racism, homophobic, like there.
But
I
it's
think
not. It's not this.
I
It's
know,
not
but
prejudice based on race. It's prejudice based on.
radiation level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a
Extreme
word.
radiation level.
Yeah, here's the thing. I feel like there should be a word for that. Zombieism.
No, that's a racial
racist,
slur.
that's
That's a
a-
slur.
So ghoulism then? Radiationism?
I don't.
I don't know. We'll come up with it. Maybe we'll make a poll or something.
I think racism is fine though.
yeah, I think so.
Because they are treated as a separate society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Scott X Diggy Gaming on Twitter. Should Fallout 4 have NCR and Legion, or maybe BOS and Enclave? Maybe neither. Go ahead, answer it.
Neither.
Oh.
None of the above.
I really don't want to see factions as big as the NCR or Legion, because then it's like in Fallout New Vegas, it starts to feel too organized. You get that thrive feeling from the game instead of the survival.
It doesn't stay as bleak.
Exactly.
And that's
exactly.
why I well, both Jordan and I hope. Well, I'm pretty sure all of us, hope that it's in a different location because NCR is taking up most of California and they're
Yeah, I would agree.
doing their thing. Or unless they like started a war within themselves, which would be cool, and that would be like a second apocalypse.
That Civil War, that'd be interesting. And I think that here's the thing: if it becomes a civil war, it'll be like it'll sort of be like how Texas fought against the U.S. at some points, because it was like sort of part of the U.S. and sort of not. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If you're familiar with U.S. history, Texas used to be its own country.
And would still love to be.
And in a lot of people in Texas would say that they would still love to be in their own country. But here's the thing: is that there were a couple of kerfuffles between the U.S. and Texas because of this, and I feel like if the NCR was to get into the same fight within itself, it would be more of not the central part of the NCR fighting against itself. It would be Central NCR versus Nevada versus Northern California versus the part of Mexico that they own.
Yeah, it would
Don't they have
be
like Baja or whatever?
like going inwards.
Yeah, it would be against the central part of it, because the central part of it is very, very different from the what's the word that I'm looking for? Not the frontier. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, if you think about the people that have been annexed like over time, like there's got to be some sort of backlash.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we see it in New Vegas. We see that people are kind of annoyed that they have to pay taxes and things now.
Yeah.
So I really guess we'll see. And Jordan, going back to your thing, yes, they do control Baja. It is said that they do control Baja and
That's
parts of northern, like the northern strip of Mexico as well, not just only Baja.
Yeah, but so if there's going to be factions, maybe not like the NCR or the Legion or Brotherhood of Steel or the Enclave, but if there's going to be factions like them, I'd rather have factions like the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave than NCR and the Legion, because Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave, they're smaller and they aren't a country or trying to build one.
I understand what you mean. Like NCR and they play so much of a role in New Vegas, and they have almost complete control over like the entire area. And it's almost like having a government. And at that point, you might as well be playing like, I don't know, cowboys and Indians in the 1800s.
I mean, I absolutely hear you, but I think that if we were to have, new factions, which I would absolutely love to see, I love the idea of like the Legion, where it's there's something sort of weird about them, but it makes it work. Like the whole reason that the Legion is the way it is because Caesar wants it to be like the Roman Empire. And I love that idea that people are latching on to these old ideas or latching on to sort of weird ideas about how civilization should work. Because you have to realize that education is sort of work has not really been a thing. So people have a whole bunch of new ideas where they haven't seen how things have worked in the past. They don't always know how things are supposed to work. People in the wasteland don't even necessarily know what communism or capitalism are. On a grander scale, they probably know the words, but they probably don't know specifically what those government types mean.
Right.
So there's probably a lot of really interesting ideas that are probably coming from just normal, wastelanders about what government should be. So if there is a new one, I would love to see something a little bit wackier like the Legion, as opposed to the NCR, which is more of just it matches up with what a country is in our world. It is they're a military power and a market power.
You know what would be funny? If because of all the small settlements like Megaton and Rivet City, if they hadn't developed in the way they did, but instead had thought like, all right, we're survivors, so we have to share everything we got if we need to have a chance at surviving this thing and rebuilding society, so that they pretty much they pretty much became communists.
That would be interesting. And I think if you go back to episode 8 where we had our interview with Open Minded, we talked a little bit about what if there was a hippie commune,
We actually have those today.
Yeah, we have them today in real life.
Which
but
would be a prime comparison. I really don't remember what location it was, but it was just a community based on a small island on the west coast, and all they did for like trade and stuff like that is and they operated completely off the grid. All they did was trade, was just like give to their neighbors like what their neighbors needed the most, and they would pay in kind like shortly after, or even a long term afterwards. And it for the most part, like, it worked out perfectly for the people that decided to live there.
Yeah, we're getting into political theory a little bit here, but I think that most people agree that communism works very, very well in small groups, and it works very, 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 very well in theory in large groups. But the problem is that in large groups, not everyone has the same ideas. When you're talking about a small community, everybody is sort of like, yeah, I'll agree to this. It's 30 people. They're all agreeing to share everything. They're all agreeing that trade is.
They have more to relate to each other with. Like,
Yeah.
if there's somebody that gets up to a certain tier in like a larger scale communist type society, the greed may start taking over.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's basically like what happened in Russia or in the USSR, is that people that were in Kiev aren't necessarily going to agree with people that are on the border of Siberia, just because there's a huge cultural difference there, because there's there's a very long physical distance between them. So it would be interesting to see how that would work if they were put in the Fallout universe. But I think that really, if we want to look at some of the other ways that the Fallout communities could develop, we can just look at some of the other communities that are around the world. There are parts of California where there are people who live and believe that the U.S. government does not control them, and they're not communists, but they're very backwoods kind of people. They think that California should be its own country and things like that. There are Amish communities that function completely without the influence of the government here in the U.S. I know there are places in Europe where they're literally just cities where people just don't agree that the government controls them and their city runs most of everything. That's just something that happens throughout the world. And I think that if you look really closely at those kind of places, is when you're going to start seeing where we're going to get a lot of influence for these small communities, and where we've already seen a lot of influence for these small communities within the Fallout universe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caedo. That was long, and I talked too much.
A long rant. It's
Yeah.
okay.
So I would like to see going back to the question. I would like to see the Enclave come back, but there's not many of them left. I don't think there would be enough of them left to actually.
I would like to see one Enclave guy who apparently has been like living under a rock and thinks he's hot shit. And he's like, I'm gonna call my friends, and then no one shows up.
I'd
Make
like
a random encounter.
Yeah. What were you
I'd
gonna
like
say, Simon?
to
Go ahead.
I'd like to start
Simon,
my
go
own
ahead.
faction.
Go ahead and talk.
Don't be a jerk.
All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to start my own faction. Like a quest line where you can kind of decide if you're going to build a faction that's Brotherhood of Steel and Enclave-ish, or aiming more for becoming its own country.
I think that a lot of people really are looking forward to something like that. I think that Hearthstone from Skyrim really footed the bill on, like, I can build my own house, I can sort of have my own family and have my own.
Oh, you mean Hearthfire?
Yes, Hearthfire, not Hearthstone. Wow.
That's the card game.
Yeah.
Play some Halo cards there, buddy?
Not what I was talking about. I was talking about Hearthfire. Yes, thank you. From Skyrim, where it was, you sort of got this feeling like I can build my own house, I can have my own family, I can have a wife and kids, and not only that, but I can have a bard and a steward and all this sort of stuff that helped me out, and it sort of became this own little community. And I think that a lot of people are looking forward to something maybe even a little bit bigger than that within Fallout 4.
Yes.
Yeah, my bard mysteriously died.
Like mysteriously, like you killed her, or mysteriously, like she just disappeared?
Well, it caused an effect. Like, she just wouldn't get out of my chair.
Oh man, I had it happen once where my wife walked out of my house. I can't remember which one it was. It was a Muiri from the Hag's End in. Is that the name of the shop? The alchemy shop in Markarth.
Oh, the Hag's Cure?
Hag's Cure. There we go.
Yeah.
The one that the Dark Brotherhood quest is for. Her.
Yep.
And I had her as my wife, and she walked outside, and all of a sudden we had a giant attack, and she died. And that was it.
Jesus. Well, you're never going to see that body.
Nope. It was gone.
Yeah, nothing.
She was. It was kind of frustrating because I always use the wife for the market. But anyways.
I may have mentioned that my children died via mod assistance as well.
I was
Oh,
gonna
boy.
say, how did you kill your children?
I did not kill my children.
Sword
They were
right through
playing
the heart.
outside and a dragon attacked. I told them to go inside. They didn't listen to me.
All right, we're getting back to Fallout. This is not the Skyrim podcast. This is not the Elder Scrolls podcast. Let's go back. Hi everybody. How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Doing
Still.
great. Fantastic.
Still pretty great so far.
So I have a question for everybody. What is your favorite quest throughout all of the Fallout games?
Oh, excellent question.
Or Fallout? All right, so this was Caedo's idea. There, you happy, Caedo? Are you happy, Caedo?
I'm sorry if I sounded sassy.
What is your favorite quest or quest line throughout all the games?
I should have prepared. Like I thought of quests and that's it. But
I should have also prepared. Damn it.
I don't know. Discovering, like, I was reading through like the Fallout Bible and stuff like that, and discovering, and man, I gotta go back to Fallout 2 again. Discovering where Jet came from was pretty entertaining for a quest.
I would agree. Like, it's really interesting to see just like the little things that happen over time. The development of Jet and things like that, I think, are some of the best parts of Fallout in general. Is just this story that wraps up from little things that happen.
Yeah, first of all, finding out that the developer of Jet is like a 17-year-old kid, and secondly, finding out what it's derived from, which is the fumes of Brahmin dung.
Yeah.
And the mushrooms that come out as a result.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really like the pretty much any quest mission where you go into a vault. I love discover. I mean, I just love seeing the completely derelict and ruined state of the vaults and having to figure out what's happened, because it's always very creepy running around in the vaults. They have really great atmosphere. So pretty much anything where I have to go down there, I love it.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I think my favorite quest is with Agatha turning on the radio, and getting the hell, and then going and finding the Stradivarius.
I always think it's interesting, the Stradivarius, when there have been multiple tests where people prove that Stradivarius isn't the best violin that's out there.
I didn't honestly know that it was a real violin until probably about 6 months ago. So.
Yeah, it's not just one; it's several, and it was made by a guy, Stradivarius. But people are like, oh yeah, it's something about the wood, it's something, special about the way that it's built, and really it just comes down to like they just sound different from other violins, and some people like them and some people don't. It's just like any other violin though. And at this point, they still have a lot of value just because, it's a Stradivarius, but it's also just because they're old violins now, like really old.
Yeah, there isn't all that many of them left, is there?
I think I had the number a long time ago. I don't remember it anymore. But yeah, it was interesting all the same. And I think that there's a lot to when it comes to instruments. There's always a lot of things that you can talk about. Guys, words aren't working for me.
I found out how many instruments he made. Well, how many survived today? Like total, all of the instruments. There's 650 original Stradivari instruments, but that includes harps, guitars, violas, cellos, and violins.
I'd love to get my hands on a guitar. That'd be sweet.
They're ridiculously expensive, Jordan.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
How much?
Are we talking about millions here?
I'll give you $50.
Yeah. We're talking you'd probably have to buy one from the Metropolitan Museum.
Jesus. So it's not even being played? That's a waste of an instrument.
Yeah.
That's a. We're getting way off topic. We're gonna get back on topic.
Yeah. Sorry.
We've not been good about that today.
Jordan, what's your favorite quest?
Influencing people from Old World Blues. It's the one where you go around collecting all the all of my friends have off switches, not influencing people. The other one, all of my friends have off switches. The one where you go around collecting all the sync companions from Old World Blues.
Yeah,
has to be my favorite. Just because I love like the little community that goes on within the sync once you have everybody and like all the cool services that you get.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think that the book shoot, people do not appreciate the value of the book shoot.
Oh yeah, you can get duct tape. Duct tape is very important.
Duct tape, yeah. And then Muggsy is also.
I love Muggsy.
Yeah, Muggy, whatever. It's also really good because you can get lead for ammo.
Yep. And the toaster, you can get scrap electronics.
The toaster I always use for the superheated Saturday Night Fist. That's the.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
It's a bonus.
But yeah, I think that's my favorite, just because like I love the little community and all the little things you get, and I think it was a very unique quest.
They all seem to have their own quirks too.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and I think that the thing with that is that hopefully we'll see something similar where if we do see where you're going to create your own faction, hopefully we'll see something similar where it's like, hey, I found out where this merchant is. Maybe if you go and find him and help him out, maybe he'll come and move in with us. That kind of a thing. If you do create your own faction or town or village or whatever, I just love that idea of like going around helping out these sort of weirdos, really is what it comes down to. So
sweet,
just sweet.
Yeah, another one. I wanted to say another one I enjoyed in the newer games that people would probably make more sense of. You'll know when it happens.
That's a good one.
The President Kimball, either protect or let him die or kill him yourself.
Oh yeah.
It's either when it happens or Arizona Killer, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing that
either way.
Yeah. Here's the thing that was interesting to me is that most people don't realize just how weirdly situated the Hoover Dam is. In the fact that if you're an NCR and you go to fight, or if you're NCR, House, or Yes Man, when you go to fight Caesar's Legion at their compound on the other side of the Hoover Dam, you're no longer in Nevada. You're in Arizona.
Yep.
I don't think that most people know that, because the state line, the state line is the river. So interesting to think about.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, interesting to think about.
It's fun stuff.
It is. Actually, if you go to Hoover Dam, it's actually really cool. I don't remember them showing it in the game, but I know in real life when you go, there's actually two clocks, and because not only is it a timeline, it's also it's not only a state line, it's also a time zone line. Time zone line. Okay. So they have two clocks on opposite sides, and you can like walk, and all of a sudden an hour passes just walking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Or no hour passes just walking.
Or you go back in time.
Exactly. It's exciting.
That was the Hoover Dam that I'm thinking of, right?
I have no idea. I've never been to the Hoover Dam.
I've been to a couple of them. I think it's the Hoover Dam. Pretty sure. If I'm not, if I'm not, then I'm wrong and I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about.
I can look at cut quests.
Cut quests. Do we want to talk about cut quests? No.
Aw.
Do we want to talk about cut content we wish would have stayed in the game?
What do you want to talk about? What is the cut content?
I don't
Well,
know,
one
there's
of them
lots
is
content.
the twin mothers. Like, I really wanted to know more about them.
Twin mother. Wait, which one? What? Explain.
It's one of the one of the allied tribes that Ulysses talked about before the Twisted Hairs were
Assimilated.
absorbed. And it's when he teaches you how to make bitter drink.
Oh, okay.
You don't kill him. Spoiler alert.
I feel like it's. Do we have to have?
You get rewarded with a recipe.
Yeah. I think that a lot of those tribes I'd love to know more about, but I think that that's just a thing. Like, we want to know more about everybody. We want to know more about even the Legion. We don't have enough information on for my own sake. You know, if they made a list of all 87 tribes and then they just gave like a one-paragraph explanation, I think I'd be happy of each tribe.
Basically, we need a Hyrule Historia for Fallout.
Hyrule what?
Oh, it's like the Legend of Zelda a while ago. They came out with like a book that had like the entire history and timeline and explanation of everything in the Legend of Zelda universe. And I need it. Like a canon one, not like the Fallout Bible where it's like...
I think that that's what we need for Fallout, is we just need a new Fallout Bible and one that's canon now.
Yeah.
So...
Well, then you guys have to get Chris Avalon on as a guest, and then you can be
Fight
like,
him
hey,
to the death.
you should jump into. Nah, that would actually probably cause some waves.
Probably.
No, but here's the thing. Chris Avalon, I know you're probably not listening, but anybody who's listening that can get a hold of Chris Avalon, no, I'm just kidding. But Chris Avalon, we will be sending you an email eventually about having an interview. We actually need to get another interview going. We've been doing them about every 8 episodes, and I think we're coming up on the time where we need to do another one. Because we've been trying to get people in. Normally we focus on community members, people who make good community stuff. Because I think
So if you have anyone you would like to see on the show,
yeah, make a yeah.
A reasonable, like, I don't know how much we're gonna do.
Michael
about
Dorn.
getting-
Michael Dorn?
Yeah.
Why?
Voice of Marcus and Horrigan.
Yeah, I mean, we could try.
And Commander Worf in Star Trek.
I know we've talked about trying to get the Nuka Break guys on.
That'd be cool.
I would cry.
And we've also, even though we've talked, well, I'm gonna have to cut this, but I'm just gonna cut that silence out. But there's a lot of other really cool community members out there that I think we'd love to get on. And people have also been asking for a collaboration with Ham Radio, which it's not gonna work out. We've talked about it with them a couple times, but our styles of just about everything are so different that
I've realized that listening to them too.
Yeah, we don't feel comfortable with it. I think that it would be really cool to do eventually, but I think that it would have to be something sort of big. It would have to be like maybe we'll eventually do one like after it's been announced. But if it's just like we're just sitting around talking, I don't think that it's going to be very good.
Yeah.
So, and
they have a very different structure on how they do things too.
Yeah, they do. And I think that the pre-war hub guys, the same thing. The pre-war hub is more along the styles of what we do, but I think that they like to sort of do their own thing as well. Like, eventually we'll get a collaboration with all the other podcasts, but anyways, going back to what Jordan said, if there's a community member out there besides the other podcasts that you would love to see come on and chat with us or do an interview with us, let us know in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter at Holotapes Weekly. Do it.
You know who I think we should get on?
Who?
Liam Neeson.
Yes.
I feel like that's a little bit above our paid grade.
Bit of a stretch. Worth a try, I guess.
I'll do it for $1,000.
When this video goes up, Liam Neeson is going to leave a comment just saying, "I'd love to be on the show." I have listened since the first episode.
I feel like here's like one of those things, like we've only got 270 subscribers as of right now, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like eventually we're gonna have somebody who's like, yeah, I'm actually a huge modder. Like, I don't feel like it's gonna be like Liam Neeson, but it's gonna be like, yeah, I'm actually a huge modder in the Fallout universe, in the Fallout games, and like part of the community and everything. And I'd love to be on. Like, I would love to have that happen.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
Well, I'm sure it'll happen eventually.
Or even like a developer with Bethesda, and they'd just be like, yeah, I'd love to come on and talk to you about what I can about Fallout. Like, that'd be cool. But I feel like we're still a ways off from that, and we're still working.
Yeah, right now they can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they could come on and talk about development of Fallout 3 in New Vegas.
And we won't ask any questions
Well, that they could.
on air.
On air, yes. We wouldn't ask any questions at all because we're good people, right, Jordan?
Right.
But, yeah, so, again, one more time. If there's a community member that you want, comment or Twitter at Holotape Weekly. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was I wanted to talk about why is it that in Operation Anchorage the computer recognizes you? Like, you can tell it, like, to fuck off and, like, you don't want to do the simulation anymore. Why does it recognize you? Know what I'm talking about?
Not really. It's been a while.
No,
Okay,
I don't.
when you're in Operation Anchorage, you can just be like, there's got to be some way to shut the simulation off. And then the general is just like, yeah, fuck you, you're just going to have to go through the simulation.
Well, I mean, probably because you can't be the only person who has ever thought that.
Well, I would guess not, but you would still be like, you know, I mean, I don't know.
I think it's the same, for the same reason that Bethesda put in lines for Dad or for James in Fallout 3. Put lines in for him when you shoot him with the BB gun as a child. Because people want to see if they can break the thing.
Yeah.
I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah. But I want to talk about Operation Anchorage in general. Because I think that overall, it's probably my least favorite DLC.
It's the one I forget about all the time.
I feel like I'm playing Call of
That's just
Duty.
anything.
I really feel like that. It's like a game inside of a game. And I'm not a huge fan. And I get what they were trying to do. It's a lot of like they do give a lot of backstory on the reclamation of Anchorage and more about the war before the war. So I think that it's important story-wise, but I feel like they could have done it better.
Yeah.
And I feel like having the outcasts there and like the whole argument between them and things like that is odd. And it's just something that just stuck out to me because I feel like it was just so different from the rest of the game that it threw me off.
The reward system has no structure, also.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Like comparative, like especially since I do guides on unique junk stuff.
Yeah.
When you beat Operation Anchorage, you just get everything.
Yeah, you can take anything in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can take everything, including the broken winterized power armor, and compared to like the pit, the pit is a good example of like working up to a certain point. You collect 100 steel ingots. The very last two things you get are the perforator, which is a fantastic suppressed assault rifle, and the tribal power armor. You get those two things if you work your ass off trying to get all of the ingots.
I agree, and I think that it would have been better Operation Anchorage wise if they had done like a again going back to Call of Duty or even like a I don't know if they have it in all Halos, but they had a scoring system in Halo 2 where it's like if there was a point system in Operation Anchorage, like you got more points for getting stealth kills and more points for getting headshots, and then at the end it was like, oh well, this was all that was in there. If you got low score, if you got a high score, they were like, oh man, there's all this stuff in here. Like that would have been a better way to do it.
And also I wanted to say that before somebody mentions the intel packets that you can get, there's 10 in total in the Anchorage simulation, and it actually took me a while to figure out what they actually do for you by the end, and it gives you the
get a
special
perk,
ops
don't
perk.
you?
What?
Yeah, it's a perk. It's like +3 stealth and +3.
It's like stealth small guns and something else.
Yeah.
It's like barely worth it.
It's really
Yeah.
lame.
It's really not worth it.
The lamest perk reward.
And going back to those steel ingots, I think that was my favorite, just in general, just favorite thing to do throughout all of the games. I think that was the most fun that I had.
Yeah, and it didn't break it. I would say more it added to the environment of the pit because you were choosing to go get more kind of thing.
Yeah. Simon, what about you?
Well, I like the finding the steel ingots too. didn't felt as frustrating as other games do. It was actually fun doing. Unlike collecting all the flags in Assassin's Creed 1, for example. I mean that's boring and frustrating, but like collecting the steel ingots, for example, that was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like PTSD with those flags, man.
Or the feathers in 2.
Yeah, I have to say that when we're talking about things like collectibles in games, in older games, it was great because people would like you would hide collectibles, but the problem was there's no way to track them. There's no way to say, oh, you missed one in this area, or you're missing 2, or whatever. It would just be like you're missing some, you didn't complete it. And sometimes it wouldn't even give you a number. It would just be like you're just missing some still.
Yeah, that's the thing that pissed me off because I recently went through Sierra Madre, as you all saw, and I was trying to fucking find all of Dean Domino's stashes, and I was convinced that I had missed this particular one, but no, I was wrong. I had missed the 8th one instead of the 9th one, and like spent 40 minutes searching for the damn wrong one.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't mind it. Like, they don't have to be numbered. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you missed number 8. It could just be like,
Right.
oh, you missed one in this general vicinity. So, like, in the case of Dean Domino stuff, it could just be like, oh, you missed one in the medical plaza, or you missed one in the casino itself.
Right.
You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, you missed one in this exact building. It could be like, oh, you missed one in this general area. And especially in the Sierra Madre, it's going to take you a while to search for it.
Oh, for clarification too, there is no stashes in the Sierra
Yeah,
Madre
they're
itself.
in the casino, but
But you knew what I meant.
Yes.
right.
Just in case, I have a guide for that.
It's very helpful.
Caedo has a guide for all of Dean Domino stashes and all the
Interior
steel
maps can suck it,
ingots.
by the way.
Why is that?
I don't like working with them at all.
Why?
Okay, using a world map to mark locations as opposed to using an interior map to mark locations.
Okay, I hear you.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to show people where to go.
Yeah.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we talk about Meet of Champions for a minute?
You want to talk about Meet of Champions? Why?
Because it was apparently a cut quest.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, is it the same one where you have to take a bite out of all the most powerful people in New Vegas?
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be a
It was
quest and not just a perk.
quest.
Wow. I have to say, I think that was the hardest perk to get.
Yeah, it is. Because you have to be a dick to everybody.
Yeah, you do. You have to be not even just yes man. You have to be super yes man. Like, can't even be on good terms with the NCR. But I don't know. I honestly, I'll say it. I've never gotten it just because of how hard it is. I've gotten close.
Wait, hold on. To cannibalize on, man, this in any other context, this would sound weird. To cannibalize on the president, you would just have to like fail the protect him, the mission to protect him, and then go eat him afterwards.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the second that you eat him, everybody's going to attack you.
Unless you're stealthy.
Even if you're
Stealth
stealthy,
boy.
his body will be sitting in front of all those people.
Yeah, you can use a stealth boy.
I mean, I guess. Again, I don't use stealth, so even a stealth boy probably wouldn't help me.
Oh. Well, I feel like cannibal players. I mean, there's not many, I'm sure, but cannibal players would need to incorporate a bit of stealth.
You know, I've heard of
Champions especially.
yeah, I've heard of people who do the game where they only heal using cannibalism, which is difficult.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, or not just cannibalism, but any of the eating perks. So the one where you can eat bugs, the one where you can eat humans, and the one where you can eat ghouls and super mutants.
Yeah.
Which it's an interesting playthrough. I'll admit it, but
Oh, it would be. Yeah.
too hard for me.
I don't use a cannibal perk because it creeps me out.
You don't want to dine and dash. You don't want to.
No, stop.
Take.
Every
some
time
nuggets with
you
you?
Caedo, I love you dearly, believe me, but every time you come on, we have these weird conversations. Like, let's talk about STDs. And you know what? I'm just waiting. There's going to be an episode where we talk about super.
It's on Jordan's suggestion most of the time. I'm not taking full
No.
I'll admit part of it is my fault, but Ghoul Meat Spin was absolutely Kato's fault.
So good.
remember that your weekly dollar is health. Go and do something healthy for yourself. Eat a salad, go for a run, do something.
Don't get too irradiated.
Don't get too irradiated.
Pop that Rad X.
Rad X, Rad away, do it both. Tell your family
And the suit.
And the suit, yes. Tell your family that you love them, or don't. I mean, it's up to you, really.
Hi, Mom. You know.
Email us if you want to be a guest, 3daymediagroup@gmail.com. Tweet or leave a comment with some interesting questions or comments on the video. We always love to hear any sort of feedback. And thank you to, I believe her name was Nicole, who left us some feedback on our last video about bleeping and some other stuff. So thank you. I just appreciate everybody who comes on and gives us really good criticism because it always helps. So, if you got anything to say, let us know. And I think that's it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.